Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. You are watching us on PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. This is our online training program under the umbrella theme of social media safety. It is brought to you by CIET NCERT in collaboration with Cyber Peace Foundation, that is CPF. Now today we are in day 4 of the training session where the topic that we have taken up is Think Before You Share, Ethics, Misinformation and Digital Citizenship. We all know that social media platforms where most of us have a presence, they are really appealing and catchy, and we keep on sharing the content there, sometimes even without rechecking. Whether it's posting about our whereabouts, our photographs, or any personal information, or posting about information that we have received from somebody else or from a third source. Whatever we are posting, are we really doing it before thinking? Are we really doing it mindfully? Well, otherwise it will lead to some grave problems that can land you up in trouble, and that can also compromise your privacy and the privacy of other person. So let's try to understand about social media ethics, what kind of misinformations are there, and what do we mean by digital citizenship? How can we stay aware, updated and be responsible while sharing the content, information or anything else online? So to have a detailed discussion on the same, we do have our expert with us, but I will introduce him to you in a while. Before that, let me tell you, session is live and interactive as always. So please take down our phone number, which is 8800440559. You can reach out to us and speak to our expert through this number. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. And lastly, since we are streaming live on our YouTube handle NCERT Official, you can always go to the comment section, put in your questions there, your suggestions, and get in touch with us instantly. Now, since it's a training program, there is going to be an assessment as well. We request everybody out there who wants to participate in the training program to kindly visit our CIET website. There we have certain guidelines. The courses for assessment will be released soon. So please make sure that you log on to the website and complete all the necessary formalities before attempting the assessment. If you score more than 70%, you will be granted a certificate. Now, as I said earlier, we do have an expert who will throw light on this very important issue. So please join me in welcoming my guest for today. I'll be in conversation with Shri Brijesh Singh, IPS Principal Secretary. Sir, namaskar and very warm welcome to you.
Namaskar.
And let me tell everybody that Sir is Information and Public Relations Officer from Government of Maharashtra. And with Sir, we are going to take this conversation forward. So, before you delve deep into the presentation and you throw light on all the important aspects related to today's topic, I request you to kindly share with us what main points you'll be covering in the session today.
Harpreet, in fact, you raised a very important point when you started discussion on this topic, that you said safety of ourselves and of others.
Yes.
This talks about responsibility, this talks about the interconnected nature of this world. And when we will discuss digital citizenship, we are going to discuss things like digital literacy, that okay, we have arrived here on this planet, we have arrived on this digital planet, but what are the laws? Do we understand? Do we understand this language? Do we understand what is happening online? Then, there are various kinds of dangers, right? From people wanting to pick your pocket to spoil your reputation.
Right.
So there are aspects of online safety. Then the kind of digital footprint that we are going to leave, we'll talk about that. Relationships, digital relationships, how we interact with people online, and then our privacy. And finally, digital ethics. So these are the topics I intend to cover, and it would be nice to have an interactive session where people are asking questions and we can also give them examples and respond to them as we go on.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for sharing this brief overview about the session. And now I request you to kindly go ahead with your presentation, and whatever questions we will be receiving from the viewers, we will be taking them at the end.
So, friends, we somehow believe that the world is different online and it is different offline. Now, whatever laws of citizenship, whatever laws of good behavior, whatever ethics they apply to your daily life, they apply to your online world also.
Yeah.
And hence, somewhere we, if we are a good citizen, then we should be good citizen online also. And it's not difficult. It's very, very easy.
Yes.
However, while doing so, while we become good digital citizens, we have to understand what are we dealing with. Because in real life interactions are very different. You don't go out telling everybody what food you have eaten, or you don't start putting photos of your pets everywhere. You don't tell your deepest, darkest secrets to people. You are not lashing out at people and giving unsolicited opinion the way you do online. So that is why it is essential to understand what is the digital landscape, what kind of behaviors are expected, permissible, safe, and for yourselves and for others also.
True.
And we have to understand that what are we putting in jeopardy. Sometimes it may be just your own personal safety. Sometimes it may be about your family. It may be about your community, about your society, about your school. And it can also be about national interest. So towards the end, we would also talk about how disinformation campaigns happen and how we become a part of it wittingly or unwittingly. Now, what is this digital landscape? And what is digital literacy? I think, first of all, we have to understand that we have been suddenly given this technology, and there are people who are at various levels of education. So people who are even not literate in the regular sense of the term, that they could not read and write, but they can use technology. So they would have different understanding of the responsibility with which they could use these media. Now, that is why digital literacy is absolutely important, that you have to know how to use, right from social media to messengers to any other, to banking applications, how should you use them, and you should be literate about it. For example, if you get any information, let's say you are a person who is looking for a job, and you get a very exciting job offer, but is it really authentic? Because you get a WhatsApp message which says, talks about a government scheme, that, oh, government has announced this, or government has announced that, or that, there's going to be recruitment for 1,000 posts for this particular post. Please go and check back on the official government websites. And generally the official websites would end in gov.in. So please check from regular government websites. If there's a number or something given, if there's a portal, you check there. The Press Information Bureau, the PIB, regularly, checks information which is of dubious nature and puts its fact check online. So they are available on all social media and everywhere on the name of PIB fact check. It's also available on the Press Information Bureau website. Now, you would see that verifying the credibility of the source is very important before you share anything, because this can lead to you being a part of anything. It can be, let's say, if there's a scam going on where there's a link on which people are depositing money for some job that does not exist, why do you want to be a part of it? Because verify that. Care for the other person to whom you're going to forward that, because you're going to forward it to some friend or to some loved one about whom you care. Please verify anything before you send. You understand that there are these algorithms of virality which basically, pump up content. And irony is that sometimes if you post good content or content which is not just driving things like entertainment, it may not become so popular. But, content which is sometimes negative has more virality. So when you share something like that, it may be out of concern, it may be for humor, it may be for anything, please see to it that whatever you're sending, you send it with responsibility. Now, one very simple way to check images is that people post various kinds of images and they say that this has happened there, that has happened, this bridge has collapsed, or these many people have died, or that somebody has been beaten up, or that, this has been said on a news site. Please take that image and you can do a reverse Google search with the same image. Once you do that, you would find out that it may not be, it may be a true image, but it may be from 2019, or that it may not be true, or that it may have been already debunked by various fact-checking sites. So Google itself has a fact-checking initiative. The Press Information Bureau has a fact-checking initiative where it debunks anything which is not real, not true, and has the potential of causing harm. So please verify sources, check credibility, be responsible, care for somebody. When you are forwarding something, please take care of that person, that it should not cause harm. Similarly, whatever you are behaving on an online media, understand that whatever happens in real life, that you are not a person who behaves in a very rash manner. So please understand that you have to mimic this same behavior, the good person that you are online also. Understand what a platform is, because the same things for messengers, maybe the rules for SMS may be different, the rules for WhatsApp may be different. Rules in the sense, the terms of use between you and that company would be different. Telegram may have a different set of rules of what you can do, what you cannot do, what you find offensive, what they find offensive, what can lead you to liability. So this kind of an overall literacy is very essential, that you know the nature of platform that you are dealing with, the kind of ethics and the kind of responsibility that you are supposed to operate with is absolutely essential. And hence you have to know the platform, the rules, and the method of interacting. This is basically digital literacy. Now, when I was talking of harms, I believe that this internet, given its anonymity, given that anybody can, approach anybody from anywhere, like you can be right now talking to somebody in Australia, you can be right now talking to somebody in Belgium or Brazil. Now, how do you know who that person is? You don't even know. Person may have a screen name, or the person may be using a fake photo. So this has resulted also in a world which is more unsafe than it used to be, because there are pedophiles who are pretending to be young person talking your own language and want to cause harm to you in the long term. Similarly, there are people who want to put you to phishing schemes and basically loot your money, ask you to share your OTP, right, or get your bank account compromised. And that is why you have to be very, very safe online. And there are basic things. And this is called cyber hygiene. Cyber hygiene is nothing. It's very simple, and it's there in the mind map also, which you may screenshot that mind map and keep it for yourselves. First of all is strong passwords. Do you know that what's the most common password in the world? The most common password in the world is PASSWORD. That's the most common password. Followed by the second most common password is 123456. Now imagine this. If somebody can get access to your email, they get access to everything. You may be sharing your electricity bills, house receipts, passports, your bank details. If your email gets compromised, everything may get compromised. So don't just think that it is just about one particular platform or one particular app. Your whole identity can be compromised, and hence protecting your identity, protecting it from malware, protecting it from phishing scams, and protecting it from any kind of compromise is essential. There is another kind of thing which are technical attacks, and technical attacks are basically things which use a technical measure, like it may be a malware, it can be a virus, it can be something which can hack. One simple step to prevent all that is just update. Once you update your operating system, once you use an antivirus, once you update your applications, I think 90%, 99% of the problem is solved. Because if you have an outdated browser, if you have an outdated operating system, if you're using an outdated app, the chances of compromise are much, much more. You are making things easy for the attacker. But if everything is updated, so next time when you get the update for your mobile phone, when it says that new version of Android has come, please update, right? And also learn to lock your phones. Start locking your phones. Use complex pins or complex patterns. Don't just use 1, 2, 3, 4 there also. Similarly, another aspect of safety is public Wi-Fi. Data has become very cheap now, so you do not need not simply latch on every free Wi-Fi, because sometimes free Wi-Fi's have been put there by people who want to collect data from you, because whatever you are uh, doing on that Wi-Fi would pass through that person's router, and they can set up something called a man-in-the-middle attack. And if you're doing transactions, they can sit there and they can modify the transactions. So if at all you are, let's say, in a public Wi-Fi, and if you want to do a banking transaction, put your Wi-Fi off and do it on your own data.
Okay.
So any serious transactions, anything which is professional, where you are putting yourself to risk, don't do it on a public Wi-Fi. If you can wait, go home, try it on your secure network, or do it on your mobile data. Don't do it on a public Wi-Fi. Limit the amount of personal information you share, because if you lose your password, they ask you personal questions. What's your mother's maiden name? What is your first pet's name? Which school did you study in? All this you are every day posting. Every day you are putting this information out on social media. In fact, it's not very, very difficult to set up, answer these password recovery questions on your behalf and then take over your account. And then let me tell you that how taking over account can be very serious. If somebody takes over your account, they can find out what number you have on mobile. And since your other accounts are also linked, there are simple scripts which can be run. So if I find out, let's say, one aspect about you, let's say your email, then all your social media accounts can be found out. Your numbers can be found out. It can lead to leakage of your photos, your address, your other account details. Now, there's something called SIM swap which happens, that once your mobile number and your account number is known, then attackers may contact your service provider, your mobile service provider, and they say, oh, I want a portability, so I want to shift from Airtel to Jio or Jio to Airtel or whatever, and I will get a new SIM issued. Now, what happens is that they have compromised your phone number and they make banking transactions. And when the OTPs come, they do not come to you because your phone is off for that time, because the service provider has gotten a request probably from your own email ID about, let's say, number portability or any other change like that. So your identity is very, very important. And these are the aspects of safety which you should keep in mind. Strong passwords, basic cyber hygiene, keep your operating system up to date. Do not do sensitive transactions on public Wi-Fi. Do not overshare information. Do not unnecessarily click links from people you don't know. Be careful, even on social media, on whom you befriend, because people seem friendly, but there's no way to identify who they are, what they are hiding behind. And after, if something happens after this, if you lose money, if somebody threatens you, bullies you, or does something wrong, please complain online on cybercrime.gov.in. It's an online complaint forum by central government, and literally you can register an FIR here, which goes to your local police station, who would start the investigation. And if you lose money, immediately pick up the phone, dial 1930. I'll repeat, 1930, because these people are very smart, the cyber criminals, that once, let's say, somebody takes 20,000 rupees from you, it is broken down into very small pieces, and then it runs across multiple accounts. It hops 5 accounts, 10 accounts, and finally it is taken out somewhere. But if you call 1930, then the flow of money, the flight of money is immediately stopped. That money going out of your accounts from one account to other account is frozen, and then it affords you instant protection. So whenever you lose money, 1930. And if there is any kind of complaint, it is cybercrime.gov.in, where you can register your complaints. Cybercrime.gov.in also has one more facility, that sometimes, due to various reasons, you may not want to tell your name. You may be afraid about your personal safety, or maybe any other reason. You may be whistleblowing. You may be just wanting to share information anonymously. So cybercrime.gov.in also allows you to share information anonymously. and they do not track you. So about online safety, your safety is in your own hands. Enhance your safety by following basic cyber hygiene. If you follow basic cyber hygiene, you're making the job of the attacker more and more and more and more difficult. Because, the attacker doesn't have so much time. They are after the lowest hanging fruit. So if you are making it difficult for them, then you are generally safe. Apart from, online safety, let me also come to a thing which is getting serious. So some of you would be studying overseas, they would be going abroad, and for various jobs, or here also you would be applying for various jobs, maybe government jobs, maybe private jobs, maybe sensitive jobs. Now in every job application nowadays, any important organization, be it government or private, they do something called a background verification. You want to know whether you are a person of, sound character and bearing. Is there any offense registered on you? Are you bankrupt? Have you, done something wrong? They would like to know, because they would be taking you on a responsible position in their organization. Similarly, if you travel abroad, or if you're wanting a job abroad, if you're a student, there are some countries which are also looking into your social media footprint. So, word of caution there, be responsible. And I'm also telling you that the internet is like a tattoo. You think that you delete things, but people may screenshot it, they may keep it long enough, and sometimes something which you would have posted someday may turn out to be detrimental to you in future. So don't be your own enemy. Be gentle and kind towards yourselves. See to it that what you post is not something which can be utilized against you. Now, a very simple technique is to Google yourselves. So if you have, let's say if you have a common name, then use some qualifier, use some, that let's say your name may be Ashish Kumar. So use inverteds, Ashish Kumar, put something more, your, let's say village name or school name or something, that till you come to your profile, and then use elements from your profile and Google yourself back and find out what is written about you on the internet. Because you never know, there people would have posted about you something, and Google would catch it, and it would come on your search results that, okay, this is the information about you. I'll tell you something very funny. So my name is Brijesh Singh, but if you Google Brijesh Singh, there are two kinds of results. There is me, and there is also some other person who's a politician. Yeah. So then you have to disambiguate. You have to know that people would be Googling about you. When you go to a job, people would be Googling about you, they would be searching about you. If you go for an important meeting, sometimes people would be searching about you as to who is this person I'm going to interact with. And generally this happens more in a professional this thing. Even for marriage, people are doing this. People want to find out what has happened. So if, let's say, you've posted something way back, 3 years back, and have forgotten, or you may have a social media account which you have deactivated now, but it may have a digital footprint which may last. So limit this kind of sharing. Be careful as to the long-term effects of, what impact anything that you have shared can have. Similarly, for those who are becoming professionals, who are joining jobs, there is Facebook, there is Instagram, there is Twitter. Each platform has a different purpose. Each platform has different kind of people, different kind of interactions. For example, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is for professionals. So learn how to make a LinkedIn presence. See, this is useful also. So your digital footprint can be very useful to you. It can help you seek jobs. You can actually go and find jobs on LinkedIn, and there are people who are recruiting there on LinkedIn, and you can create a good professional presence. You can make a good profile. You can put up your educational work. You can put your achievements. So whatever you cannot put on your CV, sometimes due to, your CV has to be one page only, but you can put actual pictures, you can put what people are talking about you, you can interact with professionals, you can build a professional network. So, but also understand that whatever you are doing, the internet is a permanent place. It's like a tattoo. because whatever you post is going to exist there.
Yes.
Similarly, whatever platform you use, review its privacy settings. See, people were known to misuse profile photos, but there's a way you can go and lock your profile photo so that people cannot download profile photos. See, today with the use of generative AI, you can do anything. You can take somebody's picture and put them in any other circumstance, make them wear some other clothes, uh, show them with or without clothing, and this all may have long-term consequences, psychological consequences. It can be very damaging to somebody. Hence, protect your photos. Do not let your photos be downloaded so easily. Go to your profiles and in your account settings, lock your photos. Similarly, also don't make all your settings public. See to it what you want to share, what you want to share with friends, what you want to share with friends of friends, what you want to share with people you don't know. So be responsible towards your own selves and have better things to do on internet. Contribute to positive things, contribute to causes, contribute to good causes like let's say environment or helping people or literacy or nationalism. Now, one thing which I would tell you here, which is very important, is separate your personal context from professional, because the day your professional people come to know about certain aspects of your personal life, it's not going to be very helpful. Hence, to sum up about digital footprint, go and find out what's there about you online. Google yourselves continuously. You'll be able to know what is there. There is a very important right which is in various kinds of data protection acts, in GDPR for Europe, and I think there's a provision of a right to forgotten in most of the digital laws today, wherein you can go to the company and say, hey, please remove information about me. I do not want this. Please take down information about me. Because this information is used. It used to profile you. It is used to check everything about you. It's used to sell you products. And similarly, criminals are looking for this information where they are profiling you. They are finding you where you are weak and they are wanting to exploit you. So limit your digital footprint, separate your personal context from professional, participate in good things, develop an image, promote yourselves, market yourselves on professional networks, and see to it that this does not become a point of vulnerability for you. Um, while we do this, let us come to again something personal. And I believe that somewhere today, even relationships are becoming very, very personal. I've known many people who keep fighting with each other about last scene. That your last scene was at 2 and you did not reply my message for such a long time. So somewhere digital relationships or digital mode of interaction is also affecting our real life relationship with people. Now you have to understand that digital media has a particular way of, an ever-present presence in your life. But it's not so that everybody is not so free, or everybody would not be just waiting for your message to reply. And for these aspects of, or these technical aspects of certain platforms, we should not, spoil our relationships. And this is about good behavior, but there are people who are doing harassment, who are doing extortion, who are doing stalking, who are bullying people. Please recognize bullying. This happens in schools, and I've seen lots of cases where there have been consequential, great psychological harm to children, because children do not understand that they are, bullying somebody online, but the consequences may be huge. And it also may amount to crime, and it may lead to, apart from legal action, it may lead to certain action from disciplinary action from school also. So imagine, but just remember that everybody is human. Have empathy about anybody you are interacting with. And simply, if, let us say, if you are subject to something like that about anything, about, let's say, how you look or how you dress or how you speak or about how your language is or where you're from, if somebody is stalking you, belittling you, hurling abuses you at you online in a coordinated manner, or even personally or on message, document that. take screenshots and report, because if you do not report, you are encouraging this person. So please take care that if at any time you are subjected to any kind of offensive online behavior, stand up for yourselves and report this. You can also anonymously report it on cybercrime.gov.in. Not only that, if you are seeing that somebody is being cornered, you can stand for them. You can support them. If the person is known, you can even talk to that person. You can tell them how reports are done, how you have to save evidence for reporting, and see to it that this kind of behavior stops. This also brings in question an important question of boundaries. That especially regarding gaming, there have been cases where certain children have literally created ruckus at home because they are so addicted to gaming that once it is stopped, their mind goes into cycles of negativity. See, what is happening is that if you're looking at a flickering screen for hours and hours and hours, it's kind of rewiring your brain. And when you come back to real world, you find it very uninteresting. And when you find it very uninteresting, it can lead to cycles of depression. So somewhere there has to be a balance. This media is good, not that games are bad. Games also improve, your reaction time, your thinking ability, your ability to strategize, your probably verbal skills. But understand that entertainment cannot be all your life. Limit your screen time. Have digital detox. Many families that I know, they do not allow phones on dining table. They said, please eat here and discuss. I saw an ad wherein there is a restaurant in which the manager comes and says that if you want to eat, please keep your phones aside. And then they see the difference that if they do not have their phones, people start talking to each other, people start relating to each other. I've sometimes, gone into rooms of young children where nobody is talking. Everybody are just texting, sitting there, sitting in the room, they are texting and interacting with each other. So this has become very, very artificial. In our generation, we used to be very outdoorsy, we used to go out, we used to play, we used to get hurt, but we knew what the world around was. And we were not just stuck to just a screen. And hence, set boundaries about, screen time, set boundaries about what people should know about you, and understand that privacy is something which you should guard and your relationships are your responsibility. Also, have some kind of positivity that you can, build healthy relationships. And I told you about professional relationships also, but even personal relationships, even friendly relationships, you can join various kinds of groups, you can join various kinds of pages which deeply care about animals, which deeply care about environment, which deeply care about policies, right? So there is a lot which can be done positively. It is your relationship to the world, it is your relationship to yourselves, it is relationship to your sanity, to your family, to your friends, to your loved ones. Now, at least about digital relationships, see that they are positive. Understand that there are humans at the other end. Just because somebody is online, it doesn't mean that that person is dehumanized or it's just an icon. Show empathy to that person. Do not just, take things lying down. If something is happening, stand up for yourself, stand up for others, report, keep evidence, and see to it that any kind of negative consequences are stopped. Now, one more thing I would like to talk to you about is disinformation. That digital media has made it very, very easy for disinformation and fake news to be spread. With the use of generative AI, you can actually create absolutely, fake videos where the person may not be even knowing. You can see when the Ukraine war started, initially a video came where President Zelensky was announcing surrender. He never did that. But a fake video was created. Voice can be cloned, video can be cloned. Cyber criminals are using this in two cases. One company from Hong Kong, one company from UK. They had a live Zoom call in which they were basically using deep fakes. And in each of these cases, the companies lost $20 million each. So this can be really dangerous, not even for people, but it can be dangerous for companies, and it can be dangerous for government, it can be dangerous for everybody. See, when you recently saw that India and Pakistan were at war with each other, and the kind of disinformation that was coming from our neighboring country, Pakistan. First of all, they started with this thing that, India is attacking its own people and blaming Pakistan. And they created content like this. Then they created content like this, they spread it everywhere. Then their influencers picked it up. Not only their influencers picked it up, then their media picked it up. And then they started to show as if this was real. Apart from that, they started circulating various videos wherein they said that we have attacked this in India, that in India, we have downed 5 planes from India. And all this was generally then, being amplified, repeated again and again, and this kind of disinformation was being spread. Then they started saying that, religious places are being attacked by India. All this was absolutely fake news. Now, the problem with fake news that it's very easy to create, and today the world is instant, that information spreads at speed of light. And when this information spreads, we have to be standing as a bulwark against disinformation. We have to understand that whatever we forward, we have to understand that, have we identified that, is it real? Is it authentic? What is the source of this? What is the impact of it? Is it going to cause harm? So not only, your personal safety, your society's safety, it's also sometimes about national security as to what you share and what you forward. So about disinformation, be very careful that disinformation can lead to various kinds of even disturbances of law and order. That sometimes disinformation can lead to people fighting with each other and loss of lives and property. So we have to educate ourselves, we have to be digitally literate and see that we do not fall, a prey to disinformation and misinformation. One aspect of protecting yourselves against any kind of attacks is it also lies in privacy. So if you want to, prevent yourself from being exploited, as I said, you have to understand what is being collected about you. See, when you sign for an app, the app actually tells you, but it's like 20, 30 pages and you don't read and you want to install the app and you say, yes, 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 you give permissions. But sometimes go and revisit and see what is being collected. Like, let's say if there's a flashlight application, why is it collecting your contacts? Something which wants to be just a torch on your phone, why does it want to know who your chacha or mama is, right? So find out what is the information being collected for. In fact, in the India's data protection law, it is essential that companies declare what are they collecting this data for, that they do not use this data for any other purpose than the purpose they had stated for, or how much it is essential for you to use the services of that app. Hence, find out what is being collected about you. One more danger is that if there's a data breach, if let's say you are using any application, if there's a data breach of that application and that data goes out, then cyber criminals are going to misuse that. They will scam people in your name. They will try to, take over your accounts. They will try to log in into your accounts. They will pretend to be you. They'll use your photos, your name, your address. Also, when people make this social engineering calls, these fake call centers, they use information which has been leaked from apps. They would call you up and say, oh, is it Mr. Ashish Kumar? Is your date of birth this thing? Do you live here? And so on and so forth. Because this information you have shared on some app which has been breached and which has come out. So know your digital rights, and privacy is going to protect you. Similarly, control permissions. You can actually go in an app back or whatever apps you're using, find out what are the permissions. And there are granular controls on permissions today. Like, let's say if some app is using your location, change that permission to only when you're using the app. Why should that app always have your location, even when you are sleeping or at home or somewhere else? Why should that continuously have access to your location? It should not have. See, in today's world, you are the product. Anything that is given free to you, it's not free. They're using your data to profile you, to send you particular ads, particular recommendations, to take that money out of you by making you participate in a digital economy. It's good. It's the whole purpose of personalization probably is knowing your preferences, knowing your language preferences, knowing your age preferences. Let's say if you're diabetic, then probably a food app may tell you that you're diabetic and you should not be eating this, or that it may give you a specialized menu at a restaurant. However, this information getting leaked may create issues for you. So you also learn to exercise your digital rights under India's Personal Data Protection Act, or under General Data Protection Regulation, which is has whole of the Europe. You have great rights as a data subject. Try to find out what are your rights as a data subject. Similarly, please protect your biometrics. That for all what people say, Aadhaar is very safe, and there is great disinformation about Aadhaar. But let me tell you, Aadhaar has never been breached. What people say about Aadhaar breaches are actually, see, Aadhaar was never meant to be these printed cards. It was just to be supposed to be a biometric identity. But people make these PDFs and these plastic cards, and then they make copies of these cards and submit it on various websites. And when that leaks, people call it an Aadhaar breach. But it is important for you now. Let us say if you're using Aadhaar, you can use a virtual Aadhaar ID. So if there is something breached also from somewhere, any service provider, it would be a virtual ID going on. Similarly, go for tokenization of your banking data, of your cards. You can use them in a tokenized form. Wherever for authentication a tokenized number goes and your actual details do not go. Now, take your phone, find out what apps you are not using. Anything that you are not using for the last 3-4 months, try and delete them. You are unnecessarily using them. Try and find out what are the apps accessing. Audit your connections, and whatever is not necessary, stop that. Educate others, educate family members. There may be seniors who may not be knowing how to use apps. So while this is a great enabler, it also opens you up to various harms. And please teach your younger people. For families, you can enable parental controls. There are softwares which allow parental controls, which basically restrict children's browsing to various, safe sites or safe results. Similarly, for senior citizens, you need to tell them about financial literacy and about how people impersonate, about fake phishing and phishing calls. Now, privacy is going to protect you. Your data, see, they say today data is the new oil. So protect that new oil, protect your data, protect your personal data. And your data may be going out from your own mobile. So please see to it that you restrict permissions. Now we come to the, I think I have 5 minutes more before we start questions. So yes, digital ethics is something that, and I told you that the way you live in real life, you're a good citizen, you're a good person, your same behavior should be mimicked online also. You're not a thief. You should not, steal content from others. So wherever, if you are using any content from somebody, you have to attribute them. If there is a copyright restriction about that, please obey those copyright restrictions, because there are consequences. Digital laws are actually very stringent. Understand the rules of online behavior. What can amount to cybercrime? What can amount to harassment? For example, if you write in all capitals, it is considered equivalent to screaming online. So yes, don't write everything in all capitals. You may require to scream sometimes, so you may use capitals then. But understand that for a world to be a better place, you have to follow digital ethics. You have to promote digital equity and equality. Treat everybody with respect, with positivity. Also, responsibly use your rights. You have digital rights, you have right to be forgotten, you have right to be heard, you have right to be not harmed, and exercise your digital rights, including free speech. You would have been seeing that when contentious times come, there are various young people, who are very emotional. They would be saying a lot of things online, not realizing that they are crossing the boundary of law, and it may lead into various kind of, let's say, registration of cases and arrests, which may have long-term consequences on their life. Also, be a good model citizen. So the way you are in real life, you are a good person, be a model citizen online also, and let people emulate you. Harpreet, if we have questions, I can take them.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you so much for sharing those very relevant and important insights in social media ethics, misinformation, and digital citizenship. I must say that whatever you said, in this particular session, it was no less than a pep talk for many. And I was one of the persons initially who was actually, I can say about myself, I was digital illiterate digitally, because I was, writing everything in capital letters, and other person was telling me that why are you shouting? So I think digital literacy is a must. It is important. And also, sir, you talked about misinformation, disinformation. These are two different terms, but again, they kind of cause misleading information and thus have consequences and repercussions for the one sharing them again and again. So I want to ask you, sir, since everybody is on social media today, everybody wants to be there for communication, information, entertainment, or exchange of ideas. So how do you think social media platforms and its users can effectively come together and address this issue of misinformation and digital citizenship?
So if you go a bit back in time, in 2021, the government of India issued digital media, intermediary rules and ethics code, intermediary ethics code. For any social media platform which has 50 lakh or more subscribers, the government of India has set up a mechanism for redressal. So they need to have a resident grievance officer here. The name and number of that grievance officer has been published, and then rules have been created about online safety. So let us say if your photo has been posted online without your consent, then you can approach the grievance officer. The grievance officer will have to act on that according to rules in a limited time frame. I think it's a period of 3 days in which they have to act. And it's a layered committee wherein the rights of citizen vis-a-vis these platforms have been restored. And it's a thin line. Sometimes, if government starts bringing down this content, then it would amount to, let's say, infringement of right to expression, right to speech. Hence, the responsibility has been given to social media platforms themselves, and these rules were created. So these rules are where the citizen, if aggrieved, can reach out to these social media platforms. I also believe in one concept which I call duty to care. That if you have this product, that if there are so many people who are on your platform, you have a responsibility.
Yes.
You have a responsibility caring towards those people. You cannot allow those people's bank accounts to be robbed and children to be groomed by pedophiles, or people to be threatened, or senior citizens to be swindled just because somebody is using your platform. It is also the responsibility of these platforms to see that this kind of harm is not accrued to their users. On part of users, behave responsibly. Don't harm others. If you are seeing harm, report it. You can report it to cybercrime.gov.in also. And most of the platforms also have content reporting guidelines that you can flag content. If there's an abusive content, you can, even on WhatsApp, somebody sending an unsolicited message, you can block them. And then they ask you that, why are you blocking this person? Is it offensive? Is it spam? Right? Is it criminal? Whatever. So you can also categorize that, and then there is a profile which is being built. Let's say if there are 20 reports about one number which is threatening people, then the platform has a right to block services to that particular subscriber.
Right.
So there are layers of safety being built, but it's your space. Use it responsibly. See to it that you promote good behavior rather than bad behavior.
Absolutely, sir. And in relation to this question only, we have received another question, though we are left with very little time. So I want your quick remarks on the same. Sir, how do you think that social media platforms can balance the need for free speech with the need to protect users from the harm?
See, social media platforms earlier did not operate under Indian laws until this intermediary ethics code of social media guidelines of 2021. They operated under something called safe harbor. Now, safe harbor is that this is I have made a ground, you come on this ground, you sell drugs, you kill anybody, I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
So there was no responsibility of the social media platforms. So it's a joint responsibility. The responsibility is of people who are utilizing and people who are also operating this social media platform.
Yes.
But see, laws operate same. What is a crime offline is a crime online. If you cannot defame anybody in real life, you cannot defame them online.
Right.
If you cannot abuse anybody in real life, so it's basic common sense. Laws apply in the very same way. The same laws which apply here, they apply to online behavior also. And hence, common sense and responsible behavior are essential.
Absolutely. One is responsible and one is accountable for the acts performed even in social media platforms. Sir, thank you so much for this lovely, I would say, session and for sharing those important insights. I must say the entire information that you shared was an eye-opener for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and contribution to the session.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. So viewers, that was our session on day 4 where we talked about Think Before You Share, Ethics, Misinformation and Digital Citizenship. And we had with us Shri Brijesh Singh, IPS, Principal Secretary, Information and Public Relations, Government of Maharashtra. And this entire session was brought to you by CIET NCERT in collaboration with the Cyber Peace Foundation under the umbrella theme of our online training program titled Social Media Safety. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a training program. There is going to be an assessment. So please visit CIET website for more information. With this, I'm closing this session over here. But before I finally exit, it's time for me to tell you about a few more things. Yes, here comes an update about the textbooks for grade 4 and 7, which are now available on Amazon, Flipkart and NCERT website. So please go and grab your copies from there. Also, now let's take a quick look at the schedule, what's all coming ahead. So you've been watching all these programs since morning. And in a short while from now, you can watch our session Sahyog, where we will be talking about empowering self-worth through self-improvement, a journey of self-discovery. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.